Okay, we're going to talk about how to stay happy in life today. And like, why is that even important? Why do we need to be like happy go lucky all the time? Well, let me just talk about it with you. Let's have a discussion and see why it's going to do massive things for your business. All right, today we're talking about how to be happy in life. Now, this is a pretty broad topic, but first and foremost, I love that you looked this up today. I love that you're here because if you're here, that means that you're looking for more happiness than you currently have. And it also means that you're looking for something that will satisfy long term instead of just short term. I'm so glad that we get to have this conversation today because first and foremost, I want you to know something. That you were put on this planet to experience what happiness feels like. I believe there's a master plan, and that master plan includes me being happy and it includes you being happy. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of what creates long-term happiness in our worlds. The first thing that I do to create happiness is get rid of my bad words. Now, you could really think of that as the asterisk words that you see online and all the ones that get bleeped out of all the movies. I really like getting rid of those ones too. I'm not typically the swearing type, but I'm talking about the other bad words. Bad words like can't or don't or not enough. My favorite bad word to get rid of is should. Why is that a bad word in my vocabulary? Why is that a bad word? Should means I want something to be other than it already is. Even worse, if you're thinking about it past tense, should have is I want something to be different that I can't even change because it already happened and it's in the past. So here's my philosophy. Don't should on yourself or anybody else. Don't should on yourself or anybody else. It gets messy, it gets stinky, and nobody likes it. Here's why. If something you feel is happening in the world should be different, I'm actually going to call that into question. How do I know that it shouldn't be any different than it is? Well, simply put, because it's not. If I'm putting a should on something present or something in the past or something in the future for that matter, if it's a should on the future, take away the should and make it a choice. For example, if you think I should lose a lot of weight, that's really disempowering, isn't it? It's taking away your ability to choose. So instead of should in the future, replace the word should with choose. So I choose to release a lot of weight. I choose to be healthy, not I should. It's a choice. If it's a should about the present, like, oh, I should not do that, or someone else, for that matter, should not be doing that. Question that. Is it really a matter of whether they should or shouldn't be? And does it make any difference anyhow? Because clearly they're doing what they're doing, not what they should or shouldn't be doing. We get to love and accept things as they are. Loving What Is another book I'm going to recommend to you. It's an amazing book about accepting our circumstance and making the best from it. So don't should in the present tense either, because what's going on is what's going on, and it's up to you to say, I'm going to have an amazing perspective on this. What about shoulding on your past? That makes even less sense. We can't should on our past because there's nothing we can do about it. I can't say I should have done X, Y, Z. All I can say is, in the future, given the opportunity, here's what I choose to do. So don't should on your past, don't should on yourself or anyone else in your present, and definitely don't should on your future. It's not good for you. It's a bad word in my vocabulary. Another bad word in my vocabulary, something that if you ever hear me say it, feel free to give me a proverbial kick in the pants, or if we're really close, maybe a real one, is this phrase, I don't know. It drives me crazy when people say, I don't know. Even more crazy when I say, I don't know. When I say, I don't know, here's what's going on in my brain. If I've got a question and I need an answer, and I put I don't know in the middle, it completely cuts off my ability to find the solution. So when I'm looking for an answer and I put I don't know in there, in my brain, it shuts down. I'm giving instructions to my brain all the time. And if I say I don't know, all the little messengers in my brain are like, oh, hang on, wait guys. Marianne says she doesn't know, so don't look. Don't look for the answer because she just told us that she doesn't know. That's messed up. Of course we know. And if we really authentically, genuinely don't know, we can find out. We can do what you're doing today and go look for the answers. We can go look for how to find happiness in our lives. We can go look for how to generate that goal. We can go look for the solution. Maybe I don't know is really not in your brain, but I know how to find out. So I'm going to challenge you this. Get rid of those bad words. Get rid of I don't know. Get rid of should. And get rid of those ideas that disempower you. Every time you're tempted to say I don't know, say I always find the answers. Or I know someone who does. Or I know how to find out. Or I actually do know. Let me think for just a moment. Every time you're thinking I want to do a should thing and should on myself or should on someone else, think about taking your power back and saying, I choose to, or I respect that, or that happened and in the future I choose to. Make sure that you're cleaning up your vocabulary because your happiness doesn't come from external forces. And again, this may sound cliche. You can't buy happiness. Happiness doesn't come from anywhere else outside of you. I was watching Trolls with my kids, and one of my favorite things about that movie is when the king is sitting down with this little troll that he's going to eat that is supposed to be the source of all happiness and all of their kingdom is eating this. And well, that's such a message for emotional eating, right? Is I need to eat something to be happy. I need to have happiness coming from something outside of me. One of my favorite moments is when the king is faced with that and the little troll says, you're happy now, aren't you? You found happiness in your heart, and that happiness is magnified when you're with someone else that helped you find that happiness in your heart. You didn't need to bring in any exterior forces to experience happiness. Know that happiness is not something that happens to you. Write that down. Happiness is never something that happens to you. Happiness is always a choice. You get to choose whatever emotion you feel needs to be expressed in that moment. And happiness is simply a choice. So when you're ready, let go of whatever emotion is stealing your happiness. Feel it to its full extent. If you need to feel grief in a moment, allow that to exist. If you need to feel sadness in any specific moment, just allow yourself to feel that. And maybe you've heard this phrase, walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Maybe you've read that, or maybe you've heard that somewhere. I love hearing that because it's walking through, not setting up camp and unpacking your bags and hanging out there. It's a progress. It's a progression and a process of passing through whatever in your world isn't working for you. But just know that whenever you're ready to be done with whatever negative emotion is coming out for you, that you have full permission given to you by you to step into joy and to step into happiness. And I want to bring up something that's really, really important to me and that's very, very sensitive to me. This idea that we are not enough. That idea can steal our happiness away so easily. This idea that I'm not good enough, or I'm not thin enough, or I'm not rich enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not tall enough, or short enough, or whatever it is, you fill in the blank. This idea of I'm not enough can really sabotage. Try shifting that into I am enough. I am enough to achieve my goals. I have what it takes. Because there's a counterfeit at work here. Follow my lead on this one, because if you can wrap your head around this, your mind will be blown just like mine was, okay? First of all, are we alone on this planet? Total trick question here. No, we're not. It's obviously we're not. We've got 7.5 billion people on this planet. We're not meant to go through life alone. We're meant to have help. Asking for help, reaching out for help takes us away from that lonely place of solitude and solidarity and allows us to step into a higher consciousness, a higher thinking level, because we're asking for help for someone to come in and give us a perspective that we may not have already. Now, think about this. If we really think that we're not enough, we can take that in one of two ways. We can take it with pride and say, I'm not enough. And by the way, to me, pride and shame are the same thing. Pride says I'm better than someone else. Shame says I'm worse than someone else. Okay? So I can take it with the pride-shame scenario and say I'm not enough and feel all down about it and poo-poo on myself and should on myself and all of these things. Or I can step into, you know what? I'm worth it. I am enough. So we can go from I'm not enough down here to I'm worth it and I am enough. But did you know there's a higher level? An even higher level than that? It may sound counterintuitive, but the higher level is actually, I know I'm not enough. Wait a second. What? Didn't you say that was the lowest base one? Follow my lead on this. We go from, oh, shame-based, I'm not enough, I'll never be good enough, blah, 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 yucky, 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 all the way up to I am enough, I'm good enough, I know I can do this. Next level is I know I'm not supposed to do this on my own. I don't have everything I need to do this on my own, and I get to do it with someone else. I get to ask for help. I have never met any single person that's been successful on this planet who got to success on their own. I don't think they exist. Every pattern for success I have ever seen says I recognize that at one point I felt really bad about not being enough. And then I got to the point where I felt that I could do it and that I am empowered. And then I got to the point where I said, you know what? I can't do it on my own. I don't have enough of what it takes to do it on my own, but I know where to find the answers. Happiness lies within you. And once you have happiness within you, you can connect happiness to everyone around you by asking for help. Asking for help is one of the strongest, most humbling things that you can do to get where you need to go. And it's like hitting the fast forward button. If you want a bonus to finding happiness, happiness is spelled Grateful. Happiness is spelled grateful. Expressing gratitude in every moment, especially the moments where you don't feel like being grateful applies. Like, especially if there's some tragedy or some trauma, get to a place where you can experience gratitude. You know, if you've heard any of my story at all, you've heard me say that the worst things that happened to me are my most grateful moments. That I'm so grateful that those things happened to me because I am who I am. Now try seeing that on. Try saying that. Try that phrase on. I love who I am. I know that I am who I am because of all of the experiences in my life that have been put together and put me in this spot. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the challenges. They made me stronger. I'm grateful for the hiccups because they put me in a place to be open and to be humble and to be teachable and to be able to offer something of like commiserating or understanding others. If you can drop an ounce of gratitude into every experience in your life, you shift from a very low vibration, very low energy state into one of happiness and joy and fulfillment. And it's as easy as being grateful. Okay, you've got all of the content plus a bonus on how to stay positive and happy in life. Let's spread some happiness, spread the love, and get rid of all the stuff that's not working. I'm talking to you right now, like totally trash the garbage in your world that's not working for you. Let me know how this is going. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you can get updates from us from now on, and I will see you tomorrow.